you want to do more after?
I say,
VA report real quick?
yeah, yes, yes. And then it can be,
All right, you're streaming,
Mhm.
recording. Good time. It's almost 7:30. The anticipation builds.
I have 7:30 on my computer.
I got 7:30 now. All right, let's call this meeting of May 9th to order. Start with prayer and a pledge. Our Father,
Who
who art
are-
in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Cosgray,
Present.
Foreman, absent. Keller,
Present.
McCreary,
Present.
Reedy,
Present.
Schaffner.
Present.
All right, we got 5, we got a quorum, we can have a meeting. First is approval of the minutes of April 25th, 2022.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of April 25th, printed and emailed out.
Mayor, I'll second that. There are just a couple of small grammatical errors, but no significance.
Okay.
But I will definitely
Okay.
approve the minutes. Am I supposed to tell you now?
What, you have to go and fix them?
Okay.
Let me know where.
They're tiny, but. Okay, so just page 6,
Page 6.
very bottom, second bullet, Schaffner question. Again, these are small.
Uh-huh.
Page 7, first bullet, Schaffner question if.
Where at?
Page 7,
Yeah.
the first bullet,
At the top.
Oh,
Schaffner question if.
if.
If the owner, probably supposed to be just if. the owner, or if the owner. If it is the owner. Question is if the owner. If it is the owner, that's what's supposed to be, if it is the owner.
Okay.
Sorry. Bottom of page 7, last sentence is the last note I have. It's the second to the last bullet. Schaffner said that based on knowing, is it
Base.
said that based on knowing what she knows. Unless it was supposed to be Schaffner said. Or
Okay.
suggested. That was it.
That's fine.
Please didn't make fun of you talking too much.
There should have been a comment there someplace, but.
I have. a couple
Yeah.
things.
Oh.
On page 8, says Reedy asked if those people would have to have background checks. Who are those people? Is it renters?
What?
Whatever.
Where you at?
Page 8
Yeah.
toward the bottom,
Yeah.
third one up.
Third one up.
And then the mayor responded that if it stays in the legislation, that they would have to comply with the background check. Who has to comply if it stays in the legislation?
Uh, I see what you're talking.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Okay, and then on page 9, said Reedy said this would open up to somebody that would own it. I asked that, not said.
She said she asked it, not said it.
He's looking for
Then
I'm looking forward.
page-
I'm on page.
I'm sorry,
Oh, sorry.
1, 2, third bulletin, first black dot.
Okay. You want that to say what?
Ask.
I asked,
Ask if.
I didn't say. That's it for me.
Okay, anybody else find any Oxford commas, run-on sentences?
Okay.
All right, subject to those amendments, is there any other discussion on the minutes? All right, roll call.
Cosgray,
Abstain.
Mormon. No, he's not here. Keller,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Reedy,
Yes.
and Schaffner.
Yes.
All right, minutes will pass, but once you make, I'm not gonna sign these, Brian. I'll wait till those changes are made and
Okay.
then let me know and I'll come in and sign the corrected ones there. All right, next item is approval of tonight's agenda. We didn't have any last minute first ordinances, so I don't have any amendments.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I second.
Discussion, roll call.
Cosgrave,
Yes.
Keller.
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Reedy.
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
We have an agenda. First item is visitors. Hit my report, why I'm not. The chief's on there, but no visitors on there, but we do have some in the room. Is anybody wishing to speak to council tonight?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'll give you the typical admonishment. Visitors, just give us your name, and Brian's turning on the microphone so we can record you. Council rules are 5 minutes per person, up to 30 minutes per subject, and the floor is yours.
Okay. My name is Mike Lieber, live at 200 Holder Road, Northwest here in Baltimore. And I'm going to save 1,000 words because I'm going to show you a picture on my phone and pass that around. This is, I'm sure you can see
I
it.
live with it.
This is my backyard. This house was built in 1999 by John Rowland. I think most of you probably know John. I would say John's not a stupid man, and I don't think John would have put a building in the middle of water. And that's what's occurred. And there was nothing on the information when I bought the property that there was water. Something has occurred since 2006, and it has got progressively worse. It stays longer and larger amounts of it. Like right now, if you go there, there's still water from last Tuesday. And it won't be cleared up until probably Wednesday or Thursday. I can't get in the shed. If you enlarge that picture, the shed would show you how high the water can get. It can get fairly deep back there. And so I guess I'm here to ask for council's help. I've done nothing as a property owner that would cause the problem, but somebody around me or something around me has occurred that's causing this problem. And I think it's up to the village to fix it. If you want me to fix it and I have to invest money, I can't tell you where the water is going to go, but it would go off my property. And I don't think that's the right approach. I think as a village, as a resident, I want it to be fair to everybody. But right now, between my property, the Bibblers, and the vacant lot next to me, we're inundated with water. I can't speak for anybody else. I don't know what their situation is, but we have a lot of water that needs to disappear. It's ruined my building and my mower that's back there. I don't know if it's an EPA issue. I'd be happy to call if somebody thinks it is, because there are dead animals back there, I can guarantee you, because I've caught a few of them in my shed before. So there's nowhere for them to go in that shed. They're drowned. And I don't want to see that continue. The smell is bad enough. I will have to, the next 2 or 3 days, open both doors and hopefully get air in there to dry it so I can get my mower out of there. Because right now it's sitting in mud. So anyway, I'll be happy to take any questions, but I guess before you leave tonight, I would hope that you could give some direction of where we need to go. You folks have expertise, you have engineers, you have people. I would have to go get those people. And again, I don't think you want property owners doing things in the village without the village knowing what's going on. And I just need your help. That's all. Any questions for me?
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
You said since 2006. So what changed in your area in 2006?
I don't know whether it's tiles that have been fixed. I don't know. I know it when I first got there, it would stay, the water would come and stay a day and leave. Now it stays, a lot of it, for 3 or 4 days. So I don't know what's occurred. I don't know whether it's the construction that was done out 256. I don't know if that's a problem or a concern. I don't know what's occurred. I don't know every ditch or thing that's been built in the village or fixed. I would think records would show something that was fixed, tiles or something. But whatever it occurred, it didn't fix me. So, like I said, there was no water on the property when I bought it. No indication there was water there before I bought it.
And so, I mean, we can check to see if we know of anything that happened since 2006. I know the difficulty will be not everybody files a permit when they change a tile.
But I guess going forward, it doesn't really matter what occurred. How can we fix it? And I feel like that's a village issue, not a Mike Lever issue.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I'm gonna put on my attorney hat. for a
Uh-huh.
minute. If the village didn't do anything, why is it the village's responsibility?
Because I live in the village and I'm a resident and I pay my taxes to you folks. And I am not at fault either. I'm not saying I don't need to pay any money. I said, let's get a plan together and let's work together.
I'm just asking because when the person over on, the other side of the village says, why are my tax dollars going there? I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, you tell them you got residents who've got water.
Yep. And the same would happen if it happened over there.
Absolutely. I'm not opposed to you helping everybody.
But I don't know that we can give you an answer tonight.
Oh, no.
because
I just
our
want
plan.
to know there's a plan going to be made.
May I ask another question? Do you have pictures kind of over this period of time that you've kind of kept as a record? So, whether it's time of year, are there any patterns that have been established, or have
I,
you noticed, is it like, oh my gosh, look, the water, it retained, a small amount, but progressively? I was just wondering. 'cause-
yeah, no, I mean, we used to take pictures, but nothing was going on. And so all I can tell you is that basically when I first got there, it was usually a heavy snow and some rain that would cause water, but it disappeared like the next day. And then it just kept getting worse and worse. And it's like I say, now it doesn't even take a huge rain. But I know after Tuesday's rain, I knew going home, I worked at elections, I knew going home, I'd have a backyard of water. Now that's a lot of rain, but again, that water should disappear.
Right.
It should run off, but it doesn't. It lays there. True Green comes out and I pay them a good sum of money to spray weeds, which they tell me if I didn't spray, I'd have more weeds. And to go over with a mower, I can make a milkshake because we shake that mower pretty good. So the ground is just a mess, much less a building.
Yeah, I would say probably, and I don't know, I'm just guessing, because I was out digging up in the farm, a tile, over years, them clay tiles break down. And I'm not saying that's what happened, but I wouldn't put it past it though. Because it used to be all farmland one
Right.
time.
Right.
But I don't know, like you said, we probably, have to look at it, but
Is there a tile on your property?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
You got some pump,
Yes,
Yeah.
and you don't even know where the water goes to.
no,
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
it just didn't go in my basement.
Hey, I know you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am the only guy on a property that has, or probably in the vicinity, who has a in-ground pool, which is very much appreciated, and an above-ground pool, which is not appreciated. So, anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Since my name's on there and I circled yes.
All right.
I'm Marla Lieber and I'm Mike's wife and I also live at 200 Holder Road Northwest, Baltimore, Ohio. And it has been a pain, let me tell you. And I feel like we're trapped because if that's not fixed, if we ever want to move, how are we going to do that? You're just kind of stuck. And it has ruined the grass back there. We pay for that mower. We get the mower, ready to go for the next year. And before we know it, we get that water rising again. And it's like a waste of money. So I'm kind of fed up with it too. We've put up with it for a long time. I think the worst time of year is the spring when we get the major rains. But it's like, where is this water coming from? Because it's coming from other places to our property. And it's not our water. It's not just the water that's raining on our land. It's coming from somewhere else. So we feel like it should be addressed.
I don't think we're going in any orders. I'll come up. Ted Reedy, 260 Holder Road. This isn't new business. This is old business. I was in here, I think it was in 2019, and talked to council about this problem. The answer then was they'd have Tim come out and look at it and see what's going on. Tim come out, looked at it, come out one day, and we dug out 10 or 12 foot of 15-inch pipe. Initially, when I came, I said, I don't think this is going to cost the township any material. You know, and all the neighbors there, we were going to try to dig this with shovels. Yeah. Tim came out with the backhoe, and the first scoop of dirt he took, the hole filled up with water. So all the time he was digging, it was filling. Once he got down to the tile and he just had to dig some tile out, the hole was full. You couldn't even see the tile. So we waited, it was over 30 days, I believe, for that hole to drain down. And we could finally see, and we cleaned out, the spot was right there, and we put he went and bought a plastic, for lack of better terms, tile, and we filled that back in. And it was done. And that is when you were doing the street construction over in the Gorsuch edition, the curbs and gutters and paving. Nobody's ever been back. I'm gonna tell you, there's a hole back there still that's got 4 fence posts and a snow fence around it. And there's kids that live in that house.
Is that where Tim dug out, you say?
Yeah,
Okay. he never-
but he was never able to come back. I'm not blaming Tim.
You know, I'm not saying.
Yeah, he was never
Yeah,
able to
back
come
to it,
back and
yeah.
work on it. There's always a priority above this. And I can give you a little history. I've been out there since I built my house in 94. A lot of this water comes from north, Canal Road, the railroad track, down through past the bowling alley, comes over and down into us. And then Steve Kenny's field to the east, it's full water. That comes to us. So it's not water that the homeowners are creating on this property. That is not it. It's the water that's coming through. There hasn't been any changes of tile, nothing like, I can tell you where my sump pump goes. I can probably tell you where Mike's goes. There's a tile that runs behind our property, 5-inch tile, that everybody put their sump pumps, downspouts, whatever you can put, clear to the back of our properties. I dug mine in by hand, so I know where it goes. But someplace there's blockage in the tile, and I think it's behind where Jim Reed lived. He doesn't live there anymore, and I don't mean to throw names, but it's the only way I can explain to you where it's at. Randy Hanna, the property, and that's when there's it makes a curve and it goes through the culvert under Holder Road going south, and then it goes east again. So that used to be Acker's ditch. And then they come in and tiled portions of, this was years ago. But someplace through there, it has changed, like Mike said. And I think that tile is plugged, and I think that was kind of Tim's thoughts also. And, you know, like I said, I was 19, well, then COVID came for 2 years. We couldn't come and talk to you, you know, the building was locked or you had to wear a mask or whatever, but, you know, here we are. I mean, it's been, I think we've been put off long enough. Something needs to be done. This last rain we had, there's a little ditch kind of runs behind all of us out through there. That's where our sump pumps go to that, but the tile's below it. But I've got a thing on my drain that if the tile's not running, it comes into another tile and it's got a pop-up thing where it'll release the water so it doesn't back up too much to us. The drain or the ditch was within 4 or 5 inches of being even over that pop-up drain. So if it had raised that much more, our water would have backed right up into our basement. But like I said, this isn't new business, this is old business. And we need to have something done.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Because I know you were here in 19 and you brought up Acker's ditch and Acker's time's up, but I'm asking you a question. Because Zach's ditch came up in 16 or 17 as well, and I think in 19 when we discussed it, because I think Rick was here and talked about some blowholes that were there. But when we were doing the Actors ditch stuff, one of the working theories we had, because I know there's been some work on the tile, is when you get into another parcel of land just south of the village in Walnut Township, that's where the problem lies. So even if we go in and retile everything, as soon as it hits there, we still have the same problem. If that is determined to be the issue, I assume you're willing to go to Walnut Township meetings, because when we mentioned it to them, no one cared.
I've never heard
I
that.
can't fix tile on Walnut Township, and I can't force the property owner to let us on.
Oh, I
to do it.
understand that.
And we think that that's where the issue was, based on the work that's been done, is the tile is there. And of course, now the tile that's there in the village going through the property is probably all clogged up, because outside of the village where we can't get to is sunk in and clogged up. And we had a non-cooperative property owner, and no one else seemed to care that we had those problems. So that's.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't remember
Yeah.
that. So that's
Yeah.
probably where a little bit of the work on it died as well, because we can only do what we can do.
That's understood.
So if it is, I'm assuming everybody in the room tonight would be willing to go to a Walnut Township meeting.
Yes.
Absolutely.
If we say, if we can say this is
Absolutely.
what we think the issue is,
But-
and they don't
Because they've got the
cooperate.
problem too. I mean, if you go out there and look at the field I'm talking about, there at the woods, behind the woods, it's like a lake back there. And those people want to get it fixed too.
And that one's in Walnut Township.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the gentlemen on Holder Road, just as you go out of town to the right, he did a lot of digging, had a backhoe in there, did a lot of digging, trying to clean his tile out down through there. So he is even trying to get some things done. But, you know, I don't understand why the village and the township trustees couldn't discuss the issue and try to come up with an agreement, but it's got to be fixed. You know, I know I've lived in this town my whole life, but I know it's not a secret that the village would like to move farther east. And if, I don't know if you've been out there lately, but there's more of a water problem out that way than we have. So if you move that direction, there's going to be problems with that too. We can't fix this one little section. How's something else going to be fixed? So anyway, again, it's not new business. This is old business, and we'd certainly like to have some help. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yeah. Going once? Twice? All right, well, we got some info. Terry's taking notes. I'm sure we'll have to dig back through some of the old records, because like you said, it's not new business. And get this back off the cold back burner and up front and the attention it deserves.
Can I make just one more comment? I know I'm probably at 10 minutes now, but I'll make this quick. When we replaced that one section of tile, I had told the village that I didn't think there would be any, I thought we'd dig up tile and clean them, and put them back down, okay? So we had to buy one. I brought a check in because I thought, you know, my word was there wouldn't be any cost for material. Gave it to Terry. Brian brought it back to my house, said, you know, the town said that, hey, this isn't my responsibility to pay. And they said they feel that that's their responsibility to take care of that. So, you know, there's been conversation and there's been agreements back and forth.
Thank you all.
Can I add something quick?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So, don't leave me.
Yeah, hey, yeah.
So I have had a conversation with someone who is is thinking of doing a camera of the tile, cameraing of the tile. But it's gonna take cooperation. And to be truthful with you, I am not so sure how a camera is gonna fit through there if it's full of mud and gunk.
We tried.
And we have no real drawings over there at all. The other thing is, I am in contact with the EPA, and I have talked to him extensively. And I will follow back up with him and say, what is your suggestion? So, and that conversation was for another issue, but the issue is out behind Boulder Road. So I want you to know that, have we fixed the issue? No. But, I will look at it. It's not like we're just sitting there not doing anything.
We just feel it has to be plug tile. We haven't been anything dug up other than what we do. So,
Well, anytime you move dirt, and I'll just say this and then I'll stop talking. Anytime you move dirt, you move the direction of flow. And so you have to take that into consideration. So, and then I'll stop with that, just to let you know, I hear you. I'll do my best of what I can do to get a plan together.
thank you. And if there's any way we can help.
And I was just gonna say, I may be reaching out saying, hey, how about coming in and sitting in a meeting and having a conversation? So I might do that, okay?
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. So unless you want to listen to Brad, now you can go.
I heard he was good, but.
Yeah, he is very good.
All right, well, we'll get to Brad when we get to BA reports, but first
Okay.
I'll run through mine real quick. Had Arbor Day the other week out at the pool, got another tree planted for shade there. It was one of the largest turnouts I've seen at the Arbor Day event in years, and unfortunately, I like triple booked myself, so I was there for like 5 minutes, but there was a lot of people there and we got tree planted. And then, of course, through the grant, we got the trees planted along Market Street, and then some idiot decided to rip one out. So we'll see what comes of that. Literally, like within an hour,
Didn't care, or didn't
20 minutes,
Like
20
it?
minutes.
I ripped it out, and then it destroyed the tree to the point that we couldn't replant it. Yeah. And I'm only saying some idiot because at some point, one of the school children may watch this for a civics class, and I said I wouldn't cuss when I agreed to teach in terms, even though I do occasionally. So
Did you know who that individual?
we have a general idea. The question is, and the chief might chime in,
Okay.
what can you prove criminally versus what we know to be true? So, yes. And then I had something else and it skipped, so I'll interrupt whoever's talking when it pops in my head and I'll turn it over to Terry, unless anybody has questions for me.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Brad, you're up.
Yeah, I got a water issue too.
All
There's a lot of them.
right, so the reason why I brought Brad tonight is I sent out to you the report from Suez, which I thought was an understandable report. But I wanted you to have the ability, and I know Mr. Cosgrave, you have a couple of questions to ask Brad, because, he is, he's working very, very hard on solving the issues at the plant, so.
So Terry sent the report out. Just kind of hear if you guys had any questions on what it said. I kind of run you through where we're standing at right now, where our plan is going forward.
Well, let's start with that, Brad.
We can go with that?
What
Okay.
where you're at now.
So where we're at now is we started our second acid clean on membrane number 1 today. That will come out of a clean around Wednesday. And what we have seen by doing the acid cleans, along with the chlorine cleans, we're getting our membranes back to where they should be as far as production. When you put the new membranes in, you should see, they should run an auto for 1. And 2, you should see 300 gallons a minute easily. And the PSI running through there should be very low. We got that with membrane number 2 after Suez was there. We had 300 gallons running an auto, PSI of like 3.5 to 4.5%, or not percent, but PSI. So we believe that this past year, we were tackling a lot of the biological, the organic matter. Once we got that under control, we then peeled back another layer and realized we had an inorganic issue as well with hardness. And that's where the acid cleans come in. And that was the second half of our cleans that we needed to take into consideration and process to get the rest of our membranes production back. So after that visit, membrane number 2 is still in auto, running as it should after almost 3 weeks. So
When was the last time it was in auto?
probably for about a month when the new ones were put in, and that was the only time I've ever seen a membrane in auto. When I got here in 2015, I never saw a membrane in auto.
Meaning what?
It was running properly.
So if it's running in auto,
It's running. It's supposed to run in auto. They want everything to run in auto. That's why they put it there. Well, not necessarily low maintenance, but it runs itself. So yes, when I got here in 2015, nothing was running in auto. We put the new membranes in, they ran in auto for about a month or 2. And then we kind of started losing them after that. And you guys kind of know that story. So, but now that we kind of targeted the second half of the issue, and I don't think we could have targeted the second half of the issue without taking care of the first issue, which was all the solids. So once we got that under control, then we were able to focus on, okay, what else are we missing? Because we're doing these cleans, we're doing them properly, but we're only getting half of our membrane production back. So obviously there's another part of it that we were missing. That was the other part of it. So now that we know that, we can take the proper procedures and cleans, and I think we're moving in the right direction for sure. I'm very happy with it, to be honest.
So what you're saying is with it running in auto, this lovely picture of sludge within fibers that I'm looking at.
That's actually not sludge.
No, not that.
Oh, which one?
Yeah, I didn't realize it, but there's. keep
that's the
scrolling.
hardness, right?
That is
Yeah.
calcium buildup.
Yeah.
That is what we were not
That is-
attacking. That's the calcium buildup, yes.
Hardness. That's.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
So with it running in auto, we shouldn't see that level.
You should see that level of, so what was happening, and Philip from Suez, who we've had him here one time, but he was kind of assisting the guy that was there. Philip, who came this past time, is more specialized in wastewater, because Suez does water, drinking water. Philip is more specialized in wastewater. He was actually showing us that those little tubes that you saw, they have holes in them. And that's where the air comes out of the tubes and out of the holes. And that will basically shake the membranes, trying to keep any solids off of it. The hardness was actually building up. The calcium was building up in those holes, plugging those holes up, not allowing air to get to the membranes to shake those solids off, which is why, basically, yes, scrubbing it with air scrubbing, which is why you see the buildup of solids on the membranes.
So by controlling the calcium buildup
Yes,
on the
exactly.
tubes, you control the sludge buildup on the
It's a
fibers.
big domino effect, yes. And it made a lot of sense after he sat down and he explained this, because once we saw the calcium, it just kind of started to unfold from there. It was like, started clicking. So,
So our wastewater plant needs a water softener.
No. not quite. So we looked at what our hardest, I think honestly, we looked at our hardest coming in. It was a little high, but from what he was saying, if we keep up with the acid cleans and we do maintenance cleans with those, it shouldn't be a problem keeping them off the membranes.
And that's you're gonna rotate that into your regular maintenance annually, semi-annually.
Yes,
however
it'll be, so what he suggested was when we do a clean, when we do a recovery clean will take it out of production for anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. The recovery clean could be hypochlorite, which is chlorine, or it could be citric acid with hydrochloric acid. So what he suggested was 1 week do a or a sodium hypochlorite chlorine. And then the following week, put it in production over the weekend. And then at the beginning of the following week, do an acid clean. So you're getting that organic stuff off of the membranes as much as possible. So then you can have your acid attack the inorganics as well. So you're kind of doing them back to back, but you also have to have a little bit of period between when you put your sludge back in the tank and let that process for a little bit and drain it back
But
out.
that's not every.
No, but it will be until we get them all through the first cycle. I would say we're probably going to do each membrane as close as possible scheduling wise, but once we get the maintenance clean stuff set up, we'll then be able to space out our recovery cleans to probably quarterly. That will not be like a once, yeah, I know what you're saying, like what we were doing with the hypochlorite cleans, no, we won't be doing that.
So what's the end result on your budget with regards to your chemicals for your cleans? He's looking at you, Brian.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I mean, so is it more cleans? Is it
It right now it is. Right now it's more clean.
because we're getting to that? maintenance?
Because yes, we're trying to get past that. I guess that we're trying to make up for what we didn't do. Make up for what is built up there. Trying to get all that out of there.
It costs more to fix it to get it back to where you should have been than to do maintenance.
Yeah, but it's honestly, it's a lot cheaper than doing hypochlorite cleans every week for who knows how long.
Which wasn't fixing that issue anyway.
Half of it.
Ordinance.
Yes, it was fixing half the
Right.
issue. So once we had Philip there, he was able to pinpoint, okay, you guys, see this right here, this is a calcium. This is a different type of issue that now you need acid to fix. So now, once we get through, I'd say we've done membrane 2, we're doing 1 right now. We'll probably do 3 and 4 here in the next couple of weeks. We'll probably start back over again with 2, 1, 3, and 4 again. And then once we do that, I think we get them each through twice. I think we'll be able to, the maintenance cleans will be able to space out a recovery clean. So we won't be doing them as often for the recovery. Now, the maintenance cleans will add chemical cost, but that's just that's what they require. So that's
So did
cheaper
the,
than membranes.
did the adding of like the bugs and stuff into it assist with the sludge? Or was that
It's
sort of a red
hard
herring?
to say. It's hard to say. I had Keith there a couple weeks ago and he looked under a microscope and they haven't gotten any better or worse. It kind of stayed the same. Now with the weather warming up, it might be more active. So I'm sure I'll get back with him and we'll probably go through and see if that's done and if they progressed or not. But as far as I know right now, it's hard to tell too, because we've done so many different things. It's hard to pinpoint what is working. I do know the acid worked because it was an immediate result once we were done.
So I guess, is it worth continuing with putting the bioaugmentation bugs in it, or
I guess
is that expensive?
I didn't think it was too terrible. I mean, once you get it, the colonies build up
Right,
in
that's what
the
the
system,
idea.
you're only dumping a gallon or 2 a day in there.
Okay.
I guess if we did stop and we noticed something, then yeah, we'd go back to it if that's what we wanted to look at. If we thought maybe we were spending money on something that we didn't need to, because we thought that was an issue, but honestly, ever since we cut the paper mills loading back, the solids have been manageable for now. So.
It's not a perfect world. I like to eliminate one variable at a time, so I know what impact it has. But in this case, we didn't have the time to do that. So we'll just have to, we're monitoring and tracking, and Brad and I, are writing everything down that's happening so we can kind of get a good report or whatever. But to your point, Mayor, may I, Brad, talk about I'm going to talk in my report about taking $20,000 from the AARP rescue plans and put it into Brad's budget, because you are right, we did not budget for all these cleans. Number one, and number two, we have to put back into service a piece of the process that was not in service, that had some scavenging going on for parts. So now we have to revitalize that and get it back. So later I'll talk about funds, but we are going to try to help out Brad's budget, because he's going to blow his budget out if Mr. Keller won't be able to announce that we're staying within appropriations. So yeah, so it's just doing the best we can. And I think we got it nailed now. I really do. Don't you, Brad? I feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, me and Mr. Little, honestly, because he and I take a lot of the phone calls.
Absolutely.
It's even with one membrane working how it should be, we've noticed a lot less issues. I would say a lot less, but less issues.
Mhm.
And with each membrane we get back into full production, it's more, less issues. So
And if it's running on auto, then is that easier on the electric bill?
Well, we're gonna see.
Yeah, we're gonna see. I'm an electrician. Honestly, that's one for Mr. Little. He thinks it might.
We talked a little bit about that. It also will help the
Carla,
equipment too.
Yes, we'll help the equipment. I'm sorry, Aaron from Suez said that it could possibly help with the electric, but also with the equipment too. So it's not, when you're trying to get as much out of it, when we run it in supervisory mode, which is in manual, we're trying to get as much GPM out of it. Well, that means we're maxing our PSI, which is not good on the membranes. It's not good on the pipes. It's not good on the equipment. When it's running in auto and it's at a lower PSI, that's great for all the equipment. So lasting longer, and less issues.
So hopefully in a, I don't know, give us a month or whatever, we'll have some sort of report, but I don't want to mislead everyone. This is not going to stop our overflows. We still have an I&I problem. This may help with some, but we're not going to have overflows completely stopped. So
Yeah. It will help us prepare for heavier rate events
yes.
as well. We're able to empty holding basins quicker and stuff like that. Or if we get half an inch of rain, we should take that on rather than overflow. Obviously, 2 or 3 inches of rain in a week, kind of
For 2 hours.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, just beyond the membrane's capability at that point. So anything else?
Since you said that, since Tuesday of last week, how many overflows did we have?
Since Tuesday of last week,
We had the biggest rain.
I think we were, I want to say 5.
Remember,
5 or
it's hard to
6.
figure because
It's
it's
hard.
continuous.
It's
Yeah, that's
continuous.
right.
So
And then you get
Yeah, and then-
counted even
yeah.
though it's continuous.
yeah, so it can
That's
stop,
true.
and then that would be like 1, and then maybe 12 hours later, you get more rain, and you have to divert again, and that's 2. So
Yeah. it's
yeah, if it carries over to the next day, that's
another one.
so.
So they hit you coming in and going.
Yeah, I know we had over 3 inches of rain within, 3 days, something like that.
Right. And that is one of the metrics that we kept on the service metrics is the overflows, because again, that's something we need to monitor and know about, and that will help us in our I&I studies too, right?
Yep.
Any other questions for Brad? Thank you, sir.
No problem.
See you tomorrow.
That was it.
So quickly, I will talk. So tomorrow is a big day for Joey and I. Will be going to, like I said, to the Wigwam to meet with the county commissioners to pitch our Washington Waterline project. One of the things that I wanted to run over you with that project is that we have submitted that. If anybody would like a copy of that project, just let me know and I will send you a copy. One of the things that we did it, the government gave us at the beginning of the year was our AARP money from, that they sent to all the townships and counties and et cetera. And we got half of what we originally thought we were going to get, which is $157,964.21. That's our first, what they call tranche. And then in
Probably June next month.
June next month, we'll get a second tranche of $157,964. So while it sounds like a lot, this is what I'm proposing, and I met with Brian today. Of that 157,000 plus, 30,000 of it we have promised to CDBG, and that would be for our Monroe water line. That grant requires that the village do engineering costs and et cetera. Maybe a little high, but at least I'd like to have that in case we have to do like a change order. Also out of that 157,000, 20,000 I want to put towards Brad's project of what we're calling, the reestablishment or improving this cleaning process. It is expensive, the acid. I don't look for that to go down. In fact, I look for it to go up. So I'm really watching Brad's budget, and we need to really help out. And those two things are allowable projects to spend funds on, which leaves us around 107,000. 107,000, right? The project that we're asking the commissioners to do for us costs just a little bit over $700,000. It's an end-to-end, almost end-to-end water line for Washington. The 107,000 I would like to commit to them for a matching fund. It's a lot of money that we're asking for, and I think it shows goodwill that we're here. This is what we can do. So each one of those that I talked about, CDBG, Brad's budget for this chemical clean, and also this Washington Street are all projects that are allowed through our AARP, and they're funds that we're supposed to use for infrastructure. So tomorrow when I go there, that will be one of the things that I tell the commissioners is that we do have this money that we can put towards the project. Now, we've been brainstorming all week, Joy and I, coming up with some different scenarios that we may take with us tomorrow. So by the time tomorrow or next service, we should have some sort of a pathway forward. So does that make sense? The only other update I have is they're paving, of course, over in Summer's Choice of the OPWC project. Now that the weather's nice, we should see that that happening and being completed pretty quick. We have run across some storm drains that we hadn't anticipated that we've had to put in different areas. And also some areas where the trash trucks, of course, when they turn the corner, take out part of a curb or whatever. So we did some reinforcement, but it hasn't been too much to handle. So that project, I think, is moving along really well. We did put Brian Lane on as a mower in the Land and Buildings Department for this summer. He's a sophomore at not Liberty Union, the other school, what is that called? Fairfield. And so he right now is working after school until 4:30, until the office here closes. And he'll do that until he gets out of school, and then he'll be full time. So I'm glad to have him on board, because right now I'm having to take use one of Tim's staff members to do some of the mowing. I mean, they always have in the past, but my goal this year was to have enough people to do the mowing that we didn't have to do that, but we just couldn't get people to fill the spots. It has been hard. And so that brings me to the pool. So, and that'll be I believe that's the last item. So Brian and I met today, and you're starting to get some.
We're with the two, if they accept, we'll have 7 lifeguards. And we still only have 1 person for the front desk, but we do have managers in position.
So some of the thoughts are this. I think we got a phone call last week from the mayor in Bremen they are struggling because what kids they had are now leaving to go to Lancaster, because Lancaster is now paying for new lifeguard, no experience, no certification, $11 an hour. So, I mean, that's how the pools are trying to open up by paying lifeguards more, which is a lot more than we pay our lifeguards. But we feel as though we offer other things, such as we pay for their certification. If they stay for the summer, we pay for their bathing suits. So, you know, I'm hoping that it will attract maybe a couple more. If not, we may have to have a conversation about where we go. I mean, we have enough to open the pool, but I don't have enough to open the pool 7 days a week from 12 to 7 o'clock every day. I guess is what I'm trying to say. So we're going to have to come up with a plan. Brian and I are working closely on this, and we'll keep on it. So, you know, we only have a couple of weeks before the pool opens. So, you know, we'll see what'll happen, but I want you to know what's going on. Does that make sense? We have sold some season passes.
Yeah, we've sold 5 or 6 already.
So, so that would be my other concern, is that if we start limiting the hours at the pool, you know, that we have to do something with the passes. So, and again, it's not just our issue, it's all over, you know, and let me look at my notes real quick if you don't mind. The other thing, the drone, the engineering came in and took photos on the top of the water tower. The antennas are up there, and that information has been passed along to the engineer. The next step is to identify whose antennas are up there. I believe there are 5 of them. And so one being ours and one being the school's bus communications, I think, go through there. The other ones we're not sure about. So I should have more for you at the service meeting as far as an update on that. I believe that's all I have. Unless you have something for me.
Questions, Terry? Brian, got anything?
No, Terry updated you with the pool. That's where I was at.
You had finance.
And we had finance,
And
that's
you
correct.
heard me.
Jeff, got anything?
No first readings, no third readings, and second readings only. That's all I have.
Finance.
Okay, Mayor, we met tonight and everybody was here. We went on finance, and also Brian brought up about the 2023 budget, which may be in July, but you'll let us keep us on that. And the mayor brought up about some issue on Rita, and that's about it.
Everyone.
And the next meeting is June 13th.
Service.
Service met last month on the 25th. Unfortunately. The next meeting is 30th.
The 23rd.
23rd.
I was gonna say the 30th might be
Yeah.
Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Which it is
Yeah.
Memorial Day.
Good catch. All right, safety.
Yes, Mayor. So we met at our last meeting, which was last week. And information.
Next meeting is the 23rd. All right, rules.
Rules we met tonight. I don't believe there's anything we're bringing to the council, and the next meeting is June 13th after the finance.
Everyone was here.
Everybody was here.
Yeah.
Well, except Mr. Foreman.
Everybody that was here now was here then.
There you go. Correct.
All right, Chief. You're muted.
Hey, good evening. It's Brian.
Oh, hey, Brian.
Hey, nothing from the police department. We're still paying attention to a lot of the traffic issues because of the road closures. Holder Road is a focus for sure. And of course, the state routes. Seeing a lot of traffic come down Canal, leaving the village. And I'm sure that you all heard about the fatality over at Canal 37 last Monday, it was about a week ago. So we're trying to keep an eye on those things.
All right, appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, wait, Chuck's got something for you.
Hey, Brian,
Yes, sir.
Memorial Day, the VFW is going to have a parade. We're going to meet at Ed Schaffner's Ice Cream instead of downtown here at the square. some of us getting a little bit older, I guess. So we're gonna make the route a little shorter, okay? Probably be about 10 o'clock in the morning again on the 30th of May.
Yes, sir. I'll pass it on to the chief. We'll make sure we get coverage for that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Fire district.
The fire board has not met since last meeting, and our next meeting will be May 19th.
Planning and zoning, we meet this Thursday and we actually have BZA on there. It's a good issue to have, but there's a variance for parking up at one of the new businesses. But that is this Thursday. Tree commission
I think you
Which
pretty
covered-
much covered
I
that in
covered
your
trees.
report. You did, you covered trees. Good job.
and records commission, we haven't met yet. Any motions? All right, no first reading. So on to second reading, ordinance 2022-14, an ordinance adopting an urban hunting program for properties annexed or to be annexed into the village corporation limits. Sponsor on this is Foreman. He is absent tonight. This one doesn't carry any emergency language. It can go on for a third reading, but this is the one regarding annexations for currently huntable land to encourage the persons to be able to annex in and still have their land in certain conditions. And that one, like I said, can stay on for a third reading. Any questions? All right, ordinance 2022-15, ordinance amending chapter 220.02, rules of council, Baltimore codified ordinances, and the declaration of emergency. Sponsor is Reedy.
I don't believe this is a declaration of emergency, is it?
Correct. It's
Yeah.
not.
Okay. That might need to come off of here, but,
Well, I mean, it
No.
can stay on there so it goes into effect immediately. So,
oh, gotcha.
but
But
my
we don't need to
understanding is-
bypass three readings.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have to pass it tonight.
This is just to update the rules of council and that's it.
Keep it on for a third reading, maybe?
Correct, please.
All right.
Third reading, please.
Resolution 2022-17, a resolution granting special use agreement to the Baltimore Festival Committee for the use of various village facilities for the Baltimore Festival. Sponsor McCurry.
Yes, Mayor. So the council or the committee for the local Baltimore Festival, they are seeking to be granted an agreement so that that particular area, which is at Johnson Park, can be utilized for various activities related to the festival, which is set in August.
Stand for a third reading, May 23rd. And finally, ordinance 2022-18, an ordinance to amend chapter 12, title 2, subdivision and development regulations, appendix A, index of roadway ordinances to include updated specifications for sidewalks and concrete driveway approaches, declaration of an emergency. Sponsor is Foreman, again, absent. The emergency is just so go into effect immediately. It doesn't need to be passed tonight, and this just updates requirements for driveway approaches. Is that it?
Driveway approaches and sidewalks.
And sidewalks. So we will leave that on for a third reading, which gets us to our third readings, of which there are none, and no tabled ordinances, which gets us to old business. Anybody have old business? Hearing none, that gets us to new business. And I guess this is kind of new business slash was brought up. So Terry, since we have service in 2 weeks, maybe some preliminary stuff on the stuff we heard tonight from Boulder Road. Because anything we do there will go through service, so at least we can keep that ball rolling, get it on that agenda and make sure it stays on there so we can keep going along on that.
Perfect.
New business? Visitors. Oh, I know what the other thing was. I hit visitors and it reminded me. I'm not checking visitors. Hopefully everybody got the email that because of our Zoom bombing last week, the meeting stuff has been changed. So yeah, to make it interesting.
It was interesting.
So anybody that wants to watch remotely can watch on YouTube. So we still have Zoom because that's how it gets through to YouTube. Council, you can, if you're going to be absent, can participate until the end of June via Zoom. You guys have access to it. If anybody in the village or anybody outside the village, but they want to attend and, hear what we're talking about or can't make it in person for whatever reason, and they want to attend, they just need to call in and we'll send them the Zoom information so that they can attend. But we're no longer posting the meeting IDs and passwords on the website so that we can avoid what happened. And that's visitor. I told you there was something else.
And that will be on our website so that people will know.
I
It's
put
there now.
a note up that there's a change to the remote access.
And now that you, also, listen, I want to follow up with that. On the water bills this month, it'll go out that one of the features of this website is that if you click on the little orange box on the top that says receive updates, you can sign up so that every time we put something under news, you will automatically get a text or an email. So if we have a water break, we'll put it there, you'll get it. If like these changes, whoever signed up, I think I have 46 people signed up right now.
Wow.
They are all getting emails or texts or both that tells them what's going on so they don't have to go back to the website. I think it's a good idea. So if you get a chance, if you go in there and sign up for receive updates, you also can see them.
Anyway, so visitors, I don't care if there's anybody on the line because there shouldn't be anybody on the line other than the deputy chief who got the message to join in. No visitors here. Anything else from council? If not, our next meeting will be May 23rd at 7:30. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
McCreary second, all in favor?
Aye.
Chuck? Aye. All opposed, same sign. All right, hearing none. Since Chuck finally voted aye, we have enough to adjourn and we are adjourned at 8:31. Thanks, Chuck.
Yes.
I'll get in touch with you tomorrow about that.
Fine.